Hey there, welcome to Faith Talks. Our word this month is avoid, and we talked about avoid bitterness. You can scroll on my YouTube and find that. But today I want to talk about avoid jealousy. It's a word we don't like to admit. It's an ugly word. It's something when have had to deal with it, I don't like that word, to have to admit that there's been times in my life when I've felt jealous. And jealousy really comes from feeling like you deserve something. You see someone else have something and you feel like you deserve that. Your flesh is going, why did they get that and I don't have that? And oftentimes we can do that, scrolling on social media and see people, say you're wanting to get married and you see someone's getting married, or you've been trying to have a baby and someone's celebrating their baby, or a new house, or, that someone's lost all this weight. And we can look at people's lives on social media and be really jealous of that. And it's just a trap of the enemy, just like bitterness. It's another trap of the enemy to keep you just stuck where you're at, never moving forward, because you're comparing your life to someone else's life. So it's something that we have to really be mindful of and take guard of our heart, because jealousy is it's a cancer. I mean, it's like a cancer that grows if you meditate on it. Proverbs 14:30 says that jealousy is like cancer to the bones. It's serious business. If you let it run rampant in your heart towards another person, it's like a cancer to your bones. It's something that you have to deal with immediately. You can become really critical of people when you see something good happening in their lives. You can start to be critical, start complaining, and like I said, comparing your life to that person's life. And that's exactly where the enemy wants you to be, is ungrateful, critical, and not grateful for what you have. There's a story in the Bible. It starts, way back in David and King Saul. And the Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 18 that this is after David had killed the Philistine, and they were coming back into the town and celebrating this victory. Well, the women of the town came out with their tambourines and they're dancing and shouting, and they said, Saul has slain 1,000, but David has slain 10,000. And they're chanting and celebrating and singing the song. Well, it says that when Saul heard them celebrating the victory that David had slain more than he had, that he became jealous inside. His heart was full of jealousy towards David. It was something he heard and he saw, and that's what can happen to us, is that when we allow that thing to enter in, we look at someone else's life, then we can be filled with jealousy towards that person. And then you can get like this critical thing towards that person. So again, it's something that we have to really guard our hearts towards, that we don't become jealous of what other people, gifts and talents and abilities that other people have, or material things that other people have. I remember not too long ago, I was scrolling on social media, and I saw a group of women had taken this trip. And I knew all these women, they're all my friends, but I wasn't included in this trip. And I started to feel a little, this feeling like I'm looking at their great time together and I'm not included. Well, a few hours later, I went to the park and I was walking, but I was still thinking about it. And I heard down in here, identify what it is, call it out what it is. And I don't want to have to use that word. I was like, I don't like that word. but I knew I needed to speak against it in my life. And I said, Lord, I feel jealous. I feel jealous right now that I wasn't included. And I started to feel critical towards those women that are my friends. So I called it out, I recognized it, and I spoke against it. And I was like, I'm not going to be critical. I'm not going to be jealous. And once I identified that, recognized it, that feeling that tried to come on me left me. If you grab onto jealousy and let it start to form in your heart, it's a form of envy. And envy is really hatred. So it's critical that you grab it before it turns into envy and hatred. Because 1 Corinthians 13 tells us that love is not jealous. The God kind of love, you can't be jealous of someone else if you're operating in the God kind of love. In Mark 7:22, Jesus counted jealousy as one of the evils that originates from inside a person. The Message calls it vomit from the heart. That's how serious it is when you allow jealousy to reside on the inside of you. It's something that you've got to take that root and pull it out before it goes any deeper. Keep your heart clean and pure so that you don't allow jealousy to get down on the inside of you. James 3 says that bitterness is earthly, it's unspiritual, and it's demonic. That's pretty serious when you allow it to run rampant on the inside of your heart. Again, like I've said, just grab it the minute that feeling comes that you feel jealous. Grab it and don't let it go any further or any deeper on the inside. You have to avoid it at all costs. I encourage you to be grateful for what you have. Begin to look around at the good things in your life. Begin to focus on the strengths and talents and abilities that God has given you. Be grateful for those things. I heard someone the other day talking about, this amazing house they were getting, and you can start to feel a little critical, like when my house was, built in the 80s. But I started looking around and I was like grateful for what I have. I started looking and thanking God for the things that He's blessed me in my life. I started thanking Him for the abilities that He's given me with my personality, my strengths, and not compare myself to other people. I avoid jealousy at all costs and just work with what He's given me and be grateful for what He's given me. So I challenge you to do that same thing today. If you sense that, if you sense when you're scrolling on social media that sense of wanting to feel jealous of what someone else has, recognize it as a trap from the enemy, avoid it, and begin to thank God in advance. Thank Him right then, right there, for what He's done for you in your life. My dad always says, when you see good things happening in other people's life, rather than get jealous, just rejoice with them, be happy and celebrate with them for the good things happening, and then say, I'm next. Say, I'm next. Whatever God has for you, you're next. You don't have to feel jealous or insecure or critical that something good is happening for another person. But you can say, okay, Lord, you did it for them. You can do it for me. I'm next. I hope you got something out of this. I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next week.